Okay, I am kid-free until about 3 o'clock. I've got all of my shipping done. There's only one thing left to do for me today, and that's hit the thrift store, so I'm taking you along for the ride. It's a little bit dreary today, so I'm hoping that that keeps people maybe out of the stores, makes it a little less competitive, and that we can go in and find some great stuff. Who knows what's gonna happen? I'm feeling much better. I'm stringing lots of days in a row of like feeling really good. I'll get into why I think that is, like maybe in a future video, but for now, let's keep it to business and business only, and let's get shopping.
You know, this would have been a fantastic pickup, the first one of the day, but we have a few issues. One, actually, is the fact that there's no lights, but you can see all of the cracks, and I couldn't identify who the manufacturer was on this tree. You know, Atlantic Mold is the one I'm most familiar with on these ceramic trees. And then I looked at the comparables, and I was surprised at how low the prices were for ones with no base and no lights. So I'm going to leave that behind. Too much damage. Those cracks were repaired. This would have been fine to, I guess, display at home. I keep lights on hand for that exact reason, but that just doesn't sell. And with the damage, I have to leave it behind. So bummer on that one. We're going to move on to some fresh carts. Yeah, this is a bad pickup. Two of them, actually. So this is not a bolo. Don't grab these. Cherry, I think this is a European manufacturer for these keyboards. All is not lost, because I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a computer for my oldest, and I think she likes the white color scheme, so we might use that keyboard for her. And they're Bluetooth, so that means that you have to connect to the internet, and here I am, getting all happy because I found a second one. It's $5 each, $10. It's really not all is lost, but I think if I sell them for $15, $20, I'll be lucky. But the fact that they're Bluetooth is weird. I've never connected a keyboard in that manner, so I'm not exactly sure how they work, but they were Cherry MX 3.0S keyboards. Don't pick them up. I mean, unless you're getting them at a garage sale for like $1 or $2. It doesn't look like, at least when I was running comparables, that they were worth picking up. Yes, I did grab all of these pens, and I gave them as a gift to my oldest, who is really into art. $7, I'll take it, personal purchase, and we're gonna move on. I have never seen, I think these are Eddie Bauer leather chukka boots with crepe soles. So they have that dark crepe sole, and one of the knocks on a sole like this is they can get kind of slippery. I don't know if that's the case or not. For those of you that have ever worn shoes that have soles like that, let me know. Is that really the case? But that was quality leather. That's a good brand. These are definitely worth picking up for me, especially since I am selling through shoes faster than I am replenishing them at this point. So I'm going to pick those up, even though the comparables are really all over the place. And I'm looking at crepe as one of my keywords, and I don't see that Google is picking up my listing. There was one other listing, and it was a suede Eddie Bauer chukka that was being picked up by Google. I don't see mine being picked up as well. I know maybe it's just I have to give it a little bit more time. I'm not really sure. I have it priced at $45. I think $45 is fair for those because of how nice they felt and how high quality they were. Way too small for me. I think they were, I don't remember, 10 and a halves. So if you can't use them, sell them. That's what we're going to end up doing. I like this hat, but there's too many vintage Lucky Stripes, Anheuser-Busch mesh hats. There's vintage kids that come in and out of these stores. This is perfect for them. I'm sure they'll scoop it up. Mesh, trucker hat, snapback, but I don't see very good solds for vintage in a price that I guess would be acceptable for me. In vintage hats that are Anheuser-Busch, there was, if I remember, I'll put it up on the screen for you. It was a Budweiser Three Frogs hat. If you see that design, it's got the Anheuser-Busch logo in the middle of it. Look for that one. That's good for 200 plus, but that style, and especially that hat, there were a few other issues. So you saw it looked a little dirty, which can be cleaned, but then I felt in the middle of the brim it was starting to crack a little bit. So is that still sellable? Like, would somebody pay $20 for it? Maybe, but I'm not going to be the one to test that out. I'm just going to leave that for other people that I know would probably appreciate that hat more than I would, especially since I just don't see any exact comps. So we'll leave the hat behind. And I had to take a double take on these nesting bowls. In fact, there's 5 here. The brand is SCM. Never heard of it before, never seen them. I went past this set probably 2 or 3 times before it was time to pick them up and look at them. But there are 2 sold. I think one was for either 80 or 90. and then one was for $140 with $20 shipping, which is unbelievable. So for me, I'm going to be a little bit gun shy. I don't like to hold ceramics and these types of things longer than some other items that I'm a little bit more familiar with. I could assume that I could get $140 for them also and maybe just hold on to them forever if that's how long it takes, but I have them priced at $80 and then I'm charging shipping, and then of course I'm going through every other plate here because it sometimes in these stores it's slim pickings, so I feel like when you dig you get lucky, just like this. This was sort of just waiting for somebody to grab. They were all in excellent condition, and yeah, I did the bowl trick thing where I stacked them like I did with the Pyrex bowls. Terrible idea because they were very wobbly. I swore I was gonna knock that thing over and destroy them. I didn't. I have them listed. The pictures came out great, and we're moving on. I'm gonna take this little bucket here too because I went into the solds on eBay and sorted by like $100, $200 and saw a bunch of very old looking primitive antique buckets. This one says, I think it's Elf brand cutlets in a wine sauce from a company called Lions, and I forget where they were headquartered, maybe Minnesota. So I'm gonna get rich on this bucket, right? I'm gonna be able to charge $200 and someone's gonna grab it immediately. Probably not. I have it priced, I think, around $45. I didn't see exact comps. I think there might have been some others listed on a marketplace like Etsy, which it might be better or more appropriate for. What do I know? I'm gonna pick them up because I'm on a roll with stuff I'm not familiar with. So let's put 45 on it and we'll see what happens. As far as keywords goes, I don't even know that I used primitive in there. I could put them in there, but I am convinced after looking that it is older than vintage. Usually when people say vintage, at least on eBay, they're talking about a 20-year difference. Some people push their vintage to 30 and they won't use that term unless it's 30 years or older. I think 20 is pretty well accepted. And then I think antique, you have to be 100 years or more. So next item. This one's a little bit more easy for me to price based on solds. So it's Bee Swarm Simulator, just a factory sealed set of toys for a game that kids play on Roblox. It's all my kid does lately. Dress to Impress. We have anybody else out there whose kid is playing Dress to Impress, but that is a separate toy that sold recently for $60, sold for $80 free shipping. So I listed mine for $60, which I thought was fair just based on the current trend. And so easy to photograph. I mean, front, back, and then put it away. Really easy. But that one with some verifiable solds, super easy for me to price. All right, now check this out. Nickelodeon Fright Fest. If you can believe, this also sold recently for $60. I think it's even sold for more pre-owned. And I was just talking to someone in the vicinity here before I started filming who was like, yeah, don't waste your time on VHS. Most of them have no value. Well, that was the first thing I laid my eyes on after we had that conversation, and I looked it up. I usually always look up the Nickelodeon orange tapes just because, $15, $20, it all adds up. I think they're only 50 cents in this store. They're either 50 cents or $1. But that one, for whatever reason, $50, $60, $70, maybe even $80. So now it's piqued my interest and I'm checking everything. Dark Crystal. I don't see Dark Crystal having any value. And a bunch of the Disney, you know how many brand, and I feel so bad for, you ever get into the Facebook groups and they're like, listen, I got all these Disney VHS tapes. Some of them have the black diamond on them, and I think I've got like $20,000 on my hand. Kill those people softly, please. The black diamond thing is a very, very rare exception. It's never the black diamond ones that you think you see sitting on the shelves that are worth money. There's a story behind all of that, but most of them have no value. I'm happy with Fright Fest. We're going to take that home. And don't sleep on Skechers. The model on this one, this is like Sergeant's something or other. It's 4442. I'm checking. You can see this like foam rubber part. That tends to wear, but for these look really clean. Again, another one that's easy for me to clean up. The midsoles, that's no problem. They're in great shape. They're a great color. They photographed well. And then I have mine very fairly priced, the size 9.5 at $45. They sell, it looks like brand new, easily for $90 to $100 on eBay. So those are clean. Let's grab those, take those home. Do not sleep on Skechers. Most of them aren't going to have much value, depending again on what you pay for them, but those are great and lots of solds to go on, so I'm comfortable telling you to pick up the 4442s. Next thing here, I think we still have enough time to sell some pumpkin. Barbara Eigen, am I pronouncing it correctly? Pottery Barn pumpkin plates. These are going to be good for 25 to 30 bucks. There's a set of 2. There were some Spider Pottery Barn plates that came out that didn't have enough value and were past Halloween. So, and I'll pick up Halloween year round, but they just didn't look like they were going to be worth picking up at this time. Just no good solds. I'm going to flip this candy over. Actually, it's funny. If you were paying close attention to those items, somebody right behind me grabbed those and put them in their cart. We're going to move on from that. I'm trying to be family friendly here. But the pumpkin plates, let's say $30 on the high end, and I'll package them very carefully. It's probably fit in I might be able to get them in a 16 by 14 by 4 box that I get from the post office. But if that's a little thin, I'll just throw them in like a 12 by 12 by 5 and be done with it. So 25, 30 on those. And a brand new Stanley, I'll definitely take this. They're calling this one the Pumpkin Spice. It's a 40 ounce. It looks like it's brand new because it has the tags on it, right? Looking inside, doesn't look like it was ever used. Doesn't look like there's any marks on the straw. If this were early to mid-September, I would say I think I can get 80 for that. But because we're in the middle of November, I think prices have come down, and I don't have the original box that even sells for like $20 and $25. Just the box, not the tumbler. I think I'm going to price that at $50. It was marked $8. Stanley's still going crazy. I talked about that before. That company went from something like 70 million to 700 million when they just changed the marketing to start selling those tumblers. Just amazing. Such an amazing jump. Pumpkin Spice, we're still in season, just like the pumpkin plates. Let's say $50 on that. And somebody must have donated their entire collection. It was either that or somebody that was like into customizing tumblers, because there were a ton on the shelf when I was looking. So the Stanley types, the Starbucks types, and then a bunch with designs like you could see that other one that I picked up had some Christmas trees on it or something. I don't know. Somebody may have just been donating or going out of business, but I caught that Stanley brand new. So I'll pick that up. Move on to this brand here, Essentials Fear of God. This is a Hype Beast brand. I'm always very hesitant when I see this type of stuff because this is highly faked. The vintage kids love this stuff, but just looking at the eye test and looking at the quality of the stitching, looking at all of the tags, these look and feel real. They had some surface stains on it that I think will come out with maybe just even like a cloth, but I may throw them in the wash. All of these tags look legit, but I am not an expert. So I would say, be careful if you don't know what you're doing or you're new with a brand like Essentials Fear of God. I think these are real. So I'm going to get them cleaned up. I'm going to list them for, let's just say $35 to $40 brand new. This style sells for like 50, 60, 70, just depending. I've got the gray color. There's some other colors too, but these look clean and they look real. So I'm going to pick them up. Yes, it's a pair of shorts and we're getting out of season for that, but it's the brand really that is going to take that and push me over the top and give me that sale. So last thing here, Star Wars eyeshadow palette by ColourPop. There's a couple listed at around $17 with free shipping. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for them to sell, and I'll price mine in between $20 and $25 because I do think that I can still get that price for it, but it's going to take me either waiting for the others to sell or just getting lucky and having somebody maybe want to order one that's a little closer to me regionally and it doesn't, mind paying a little bit more to get it to them sooner. That's probably how I'll run that strategy here. So let's wait for and I do this often with certain things. Like I do not mind. I don't have to be the first in line for the sale. I'm happy waiting because I know that sale will come eventually. So that's probably the strategy that I'm gonna implement right here. Let's let the $17 ones sell out, and then the $20 to $25 ones will kick in. I'm sure there was a time when that one sold for $20 to $30. It's going to cost me $4. It seems like a lot. Usually the makeup in this area, they only charge a couple of bucks for. It's fine. I'll pay the $4, and I think that's going to be it for this trip. So you can see I'm kind of trying to mix things up a little bit, pick up some things I'm not familiar with. It's just a part of me trying to evolve, but I like the mix, and hopefully there were some things in there that you also were seeing for the first time. All right, let's head home.
Don't listen to them when they tell you that VHS market is dried up. That was an amazing find. Listed for $60. And I like everything else that I found. Hope you did too. Hope you learned something there. That's all I have for you today. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll catch you in the next one.